Oh, I've only met him like what?
Oh. Okay, what's up, everybody?
No kidding.
Today, we do. Is it Greg and Winston or Winston and Greg? It doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Alphabetical. Greg and Winston. What do I say? Hey, you want to do the introduction?
So, good afternoon. This is a type of news.
See,
I'm Dr.
why couldn't he just do it from
That's
jump?
Bruce Robinson, and today we have the very first couple to be married under the same sex.
This is the first one, right?
No.
Nope.
I told you. But they were the one that made the biggest noise.
Okay, not the first. Not the first. we were wrong.
No, he was wrong.
No, he was wrong. But
Well, don't be
we have
honest.
Greg and Winston here, and we wanted to grab them really briefly to talk about the fallout of the passing of the Domestic Partnership Act.
The bullshit bill? I thought that's what we were calling it.
I'm a fan of that name.
No, by all means, go ahead. Like, I think we should like co-sign that. Like anytime you hear bullshit bill, pay us 25 cents.
So how do you guys feel personally after, going to court and actually winning your case legally and then to have it overturned?
It's, I mean, it's sort of sad after, well, I guess you would say a victory, a win, to then, it's almost like an Olympian being stripped of their medal, kind of, so to speak.
They got Lance Armstrong just minus the,
Yeah.
Minus the whole surgery.
minus the whole injections and stuff.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I guess that's kind of a way to put how it must feel in another way. It really kind of felt like, we fought for this, and the community fought for this, and something was given to them, or the entire, if you could say, like the entire plate was given to them, and then somebody decided to come and just take some of that back and be like, nope, sorry, dangle it in front of your face, take it back. And
Which analogy do we use for it? It's like your mama buying you a fancy new toy and then just taking it back to the store after like 3 months?
And then giving you some like half-assed version of it.
Or like breaking off the leg and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Play with the leg.
You should be happy. You still got something, right? Like that's how that works.
Jeez.
No?
That's what people are saying. Like, oh, well, they have this. It's like, it's not the same.
And heterosexual couples now, because of this, also have domestic partnerships.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, I guess.
Yeah.
We still have more.
No one's saying this for that one.
What exactly is your personal gripe? Because I know a lot of viewers and a lot of people out there say that, oh, well, domestic partnership is pretty much the same thing because it gives you the legal rights. Like, what is your personal gripe with the bill as far as for you two?
I think the biggest thing for me is saying, hey, May 6th, everyone can get married. That's it. Everyone can get married. Any person that wants to get married in Bermuda can. February 7th. Actually, we're going to take that back. You guys can still get married, but we're going to give you guys domestic partnership. So you're giving us something and then saying that we can't have it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The bill overall isn't that bad. If they were to introduce this bill 2-3 years ago, I don't think anybody would really have a problem with it. It's the bill being it's giving us marriage equality and then taking that back under some lukewarm name.
Well, better to
yes, bill.
not have something.
Whatever.
Like, better to not have something at all than to have it and then it be taken away like 3 months later. Like, what
and
the
then
hell?
expect us to be happy with this. And so you're, in a sense, you're effectively saying that the LGBT community is a second class. You are second class citizens. This bill is creating that. 1. 2, you're also creating increased division within a very divided country for one, but within a community in itself as well. So you've got like this 3-tiered system of, hey, these people are married, these 10 couples, because I think it's officially 10 before the bill went through.
It was a couple people. Well,
two or three more couples that got married after, or before the bill went through. But these 10 couples have marriage. Anyone else after that gets domestic partnerships, and then if you don't want to get married, cool, don't get married. That's not a big deal. But you've got like why is it now that we need to have this increased division? And I don't think people realize the effect of this whole divided, segmented community. Bermuda in itself is very divided. We keep talking about that as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another issue in itself. But then you're dividing it within the divisions, and it's like, how can you possibly expect anything to get done when you're segmenting the community in so many different ways? Like, the whole thing is so frustrating for me. Like, I people ask, how do you feel? I feel frustrated.
Yeah.
I feel so unbelievably frustrated.
Oh, we get you.
So many levels, and it's not even like, a lot of it is like, I have yet to sit down and talk to someone without bringing religion into it. Just remove everything. And talk to me as a person. Talk to me like you're talking to a friend or just someone that you have respect for.
They can't.
And they cannot do it.
But we ask all the time in the comment section for these things. Give us a unbiased, unreligious, uncultural reason for why not. And they're like, what was it she said to us? Oh, whatever excuse I give you wouldn't be enough. And I'm just like, if it was logical and reason, maybe.
I honestly would, if there is a logical explanation as to why this impacts you so much, I would love to hear it.
Well, if it's not enough, then doesn't that speak for itself? It's not enough.
Yeah.
Then you really hold no ground.
Yeah.
Like, my thought is if you take any other human right out there and you just revoke it from a certain group of people.
No, it's not the same, because, like, you're not talking about the black people. Like, that's
of course not the black people.
That's
not us darkies. Oh Lord, no. Don't take anything from us.
But I mean, it doesn't matter.
We've suffered enough.
It doesn't even matter, like, take race out of it or anything else, but if you're taking, say, if, like, the right for education, and you're just going to say, you know, these children aren't going to go to school, XYZ type children, whatever they are, because of any type of reason, whether it's race, religion, anything, you're going to have a huge uprising. You're going to have people who are so pissed off. Well, then why do you think we would just sit here and be silent and take it? Like, if you think one is a form of abuse or neglect of human rights, well, this is as well.
Yeah, and I think that it wasn't even truly finished, because it was a victory for you guys, but we never really got to push the legislation to back it. Yeah. And I think that most folks within the LGBT community, I'm not really sure, but I think most folks are really upset about it because of the fact that your victory came before the Domestic Partnership Act. Like you said, it wasn't the act itself. It's more along the lines of, because it came after your victory and it took it, that's the act was more like a lukewarm.
The biggest thing about it, and I've said it like I said so many times, you're taking it away. Like, you gave it to us through the courts, regardless. It was allowed. People got married because they were allowed to get married under it. And then this bill that you're introducing after the fact is saying, hey, no, we're taking that back. We're not cool with this anymore.
But
not that they were cool with it to begin with in the first place. But
what I find interesting about the bullshit bill is, if I'm correct, it was given, the right to marry was given in a court because there was legally nothing telling you that you couldn't. Right. Until we said they couldn't.
Basically.
So now there is a legal thing saying you can't, but we literally had to legally say you could not do something after we said you could do it.
Better to
they just created it. They pulled it out.
That's why it's a bullshit bill. Because what's the definition of bullshit? You're pulling stuff out of your ass.
Like, oh, we don't like this. We gotta fix this.
Wait a second.
We can't change any of the current bills.
And then only
a new one.
Only to get met with the whole, oh well, I'm not homophobic. I have gay friends, and it's just like, oh, shut up.
Yeah, but it is recently been launched. A lawsuit has been launched.
Thank you guys. This is great.
But a lawsuit has been launched against the Attorney General recently.
Yeah,
and I was wondering if that was kind of going to be maybe what's next. Is that going to be the continuation?
I have spoken to the, I guess, plaintiff, if you will. Yeah, basically the person that's taking this on now with Mark, this next step, and he asked some questions and things like that, and I gave him my advice, supported him 100%. told him if there's any other like things that you want to ask and things like that, go for it. Awesome. Like I'm all ears. Like we'll absolutely help. There's like it's a lot of when it comes down to the legal aspects of it. It's not really they need a person as opposed to like it's not like. They basically just need a person to represent the case. They need a face for the case.
Catalyst.
To get it going. And now that they do, it's this aspect of, hey, you're taking my rights away. And that's the basis of the argument. I'm not a lawyer by any means, so like the whole logistics of it is completely out of my realm of
expertise.
For sure.
I got you.
But from what I understand, essentially you're removing a right from a member of the community that planned on using that right.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where the argument is, and that's kind of what they're basing it off of. And so that would be the next step, which I think was published today.
It's vegans trying to make meat illegal.
Do you think that it will be any sort of action, like as far as like protests or anything, any sort of action, nonviolent action?
I think that if there was in support of or against, I wouldn't be surprised if there was. I think that it's a very polarizing issue, and so when we finished this up in May of last year, we kind of thought we were fairly done at that point.
Yeah, right.
Almost a year later, we're still here. And so you've got this back and forth, and so with something so polarizing, naturally you're going to have people wanting to speak their mind or vocalize in a peaceful protest or whatever the case is. Right. I think it's to be expected for sure, and if there was, I would 110% be behind something like that because everyone was behind us when we were going through it. And it's something that obviously we've fought and been very vocal about for the last little while, so why wouldn't we be a part of something like that? But I think a lot of it is visibility, a lot of it is humanizing us as people, getting to know us. I think people have so many misconceptions and stereotypes that they build up in their heads without meeting us or meeting members of the LGBT community. And more often than not, all they have to do is look over their shoulder because chances are there is a member of the LGBT community in their circle, and they just don't know.
Preaching at their churches, but
that's another story.
we did say in the last. I'm sorry. He set it up perfectly. Like I could have just like. But we said in the last episode we did that we would challenge members of both sides to reach out to each other to just ask the questions because, like, I was raised with so many misconceptions. Like, my friend had an uncle that was married to another man, and my family members were asking me if he turned out gay, one of them molested him or something. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's not how it works. No. That's not how any of it works.
You have to agree, all of us can agree that in Bermuda there's always a very minimum amount of conversation on any topic.
And research.
It's with the race topic, with any topic, it's very minimum interaction between both sides. Like, in such a small community, we can all manage to kind of not talk to each other. You know what I mean? Because it was no sort of effort made to really have a dialogue with you guys and to find out why this issue means so much to you guys. Because it's easy to dismiss something that you yourself are not concerned with. You know what I mean? Like if someone said, "Oh, dogs can't walk on Front Street" or something like that. I don't have a dog. So it's like,
doesn't affect me. All right, cool.
But if I see a protest of people who are like, "Hey, my dog wants to walk on Front Street," it's like you need to bring that awareness from the other side. You know what I mean? Because we all know what the preserved marriage side is. We've heard nothing but
absolutely
for the past ever growing up.
We wanted to call for like a more like, I want to use the word educate, but that sounds very scholastic.
Yeah.
Like just to inform people what they think is not what it is.
It's nothing really to be informed about. Why are you so concerned of who I'm marrying? You're not in my marriage.
What did Colonel Burke say? If it ain't got nothing to do with you, leave it the hell alone.
I'm tired of having a country of no.
Oh my god.
I don't want a country of no, okay?
But it's okay to vote no.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Of course it's okay. As long as we as a people are usually against it,
He didn't
it's
add,
okay.
He didn't add the second no, that's why. He said, I don't want a country of no, but he wants a country of no. Yeah.
No-no's okay, but no's not.
Yeah, we'll work that out.
We're okay with both no's, but
We
no.
got you, Birch. We got you. We're there. But
Don't worry, we're over here checking in on everyone else's marriage and their intermarital affairs.
Yes, because remember, everything you guys do messes up what we do, so you are no longer allowed to wear sweaters and green shirts because he's wearing it. You can't do it now. It's wrong.
It's gonna make you gay.
It says in First Leviticus 87 I don't give a damn. You can't do this.
Well, I'm just gotta empty my whole closet, man.
Amen.
And people might pop out of it too. You never know. Like,
but I wanted you guys to really kind of shed some light on like many people don't get insight into the LGBT community and how you guys really feel as far as like living in a country. Because I understand that most people in the Domestic Partnership Act, pro and con, were all basically basing it on tourism. You know, everyone outside the country. But at the end of the day, it was barely any talk about the LGBT community that exists inside Bermuda. Everyone was worried about, rainbow money, rainbow that's coming in. But what about
what does rainbow money mean? Have you seen our money? Literally, we have like.
Yeah, but I'm just like, if you really look at it, you're like, it became an issue. It's almost like Bermuda took it off itself and put it outside, Like they were like,
It's almost as if I think they're trying to, hey, maybe the outside will help us in some way. And it's like, no, we have to attend to our affairs in-house. Like, it's our country. We need to take care of it. And whether you like it or not, there are LGBT members within the country that need to be, I guess, addressed, and maybe this BS bill was the way to do that.
I really feel we should co-sign that. I really like it.
But I think, like, moving forward and things like that, and how do we get to a better place, like, Greg and I aren't we are members of the LGBT community, but we aren't the LGBT community.
No, of course.
Obviously not. And I think that there's going to be kids after us that struggle with their sexuality and things like that. And that's a reality. Like, that's just a fact.
We all grow up with it.
Regardless of whether or not people seem to think, no, not in Bermuda, that doesn't happen. But it does. It's just a fact. You can sweep it under the rug all you want. You can turn a blind eye to it. It's gonna happen. They exist. They live here. They have a right to be happy, feel safe, live a productive life. The LGBT aspect of me is such a small aspect of everything else that I am. And people become so focused on it. And I'm like, yo, I've done a lot of other things. Greg's done a lot of other things where I have a quote that I love. It's the moment a little boy is concerned with which is a jay and which is a sparrow, he can no longer see the birds or hear them sing. And so when you become so focused on one aspect or categorizing that person, putting them into a specific box, you lose sight of everything else that person is. And it's frustrating because there are so many people that leave the island. They talk about the brain drain and things like that, and it's, if you're really worried about this island, show us that you care. The LGBT community is, sure, it might be small or not as big as you think or whatever the case is, but those members of it are leaving, and a lot of them don't want to come back. And it's for things like this, and it's like, how can you live day by day and be happy and live a productive life when you've got people telling you that the way you choose to live your life is wrong, or immoral or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because it started to stem from the Domestic Partnership Act straight into just like homophobic, anti.
Oh, it was always homophobic.
Yeah,
the whole movement was homophobic.
No, but but I mean,
don't
like,
call them a homophobe because that's mean.
Why? Because they have gay friends?
They're not homophobes. They aren't afraid. They're just assholes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that the quote?
Yeah, but I mean, on that note too, about what you said earlier, the LGBT part is very, very small when it comes to you guys as a person. You know, you tell people some of the stuff that you guys have done within your life, like some of your background.
Well, I think, honestly, and going off of that, the way I even kind of look at it is I don't view myself as being in a gay relationship. I'm in a relationship. It's still a relationship. It still has all the same dynamics of any other relationship to make it work. But that aside as well, I guess, in just terms of, I guess, more of our personal lives or what we've even done together, you know, Winston and I have both gone to other countries for schooling. So, I mean, not a lot, well, maybe more so in Bermuda. A lot of people go overseas, I guess, for school.
Oh, yeah.
In Canada, you know, there are lots of schools to choose from, so not as many people would necessarily do that. I chose to go overseas for school. I've gone overseas to do work. I mean, for me, I moved to Bermuda for work as well and to live here and be with him. We've accomplished a lot of things in our lives. We've done it
but also
with a lot of support from friends and family. We've gone through a lot of hard times in our lives as well, which we kind of share similarities with as well.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like lived in different countries, like graduated, just simple things even, like, well, it's like when you're sent to boarding school and things like that to live and learn different languages and those sorts of things, it's cool because it broadened your like mind to everything else that exists. Going to boarding school, you got to be put into this little microcosm of 600 students and 32 different countries. So like you're bound to talk to people and just learn about their life, and those sorts of things are kind of cool because it allows you to just accept and be open to different people and just how they live their life, cultures, like you said.
I mean, essentially, everybody's different, but everybody's the same.
Yeah, that's the point we've really tried to drive home ever since taking on this court cases. We eat, sleep, breathe the same air, the same life as other people. We still got to pay our bills. We still want to go out and watch a movie or go grab a drink or go do all that, I guess, what you would call normal stuff that most of the population does.
It's just we put so much of an emphasis on one big thing that it's just
sexual orientation.
Yeah.
No,
it's such a small part of what we all are.
It's such a small part.
Like, we don't go around and hey, like, I'm part of the LGBT community. My name is Winston. No, like, I'm Winston, and if that happens to come up, I'm not afraid to say, here's the deal. But
you're not walking around with a billboard that says, hey,
but
guess
I mean,
what?
when will you ever have to, you know, because you're at the workplace, you're at your everyday life. Whatever happens in you guys' personal lives really ever should come up. I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. Well, let me close on this one. Because, we run out of time.
Before you could, I'm going to ask one question because I know everybody want to know this one. How are you guys, where do you guys stand on the boycott Bermuda hashtag? And if you, since we can't fit the whole LGBT community in this little room, unfortunately, if you could just give us a brief outlook on how, what the consensus is.
I don't see the hashtag being productive in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
I don't see it, I don't see how, hey, they took back same-sex marriage, repealed it, whatever you want to call it, reversed it, whatever. I'm going to I'm going to boycott Bermuda. Like, how does that help the situation in any way, shape, or form? The members of the LGBT community that it impacts are still here living in Bermuda.
Yeah.
Like,
This is why we like them.
like, I don't understand. And I don't get how boycotting a country because of its stance or position or whatever the case is helps the situation. I think if anything, talking, sharing like articles, things like that, like your opinions, share that as opposed to, and get the message out as opposed to boycotting the island. If anything, come to the island. Hey, like, if the LGBT community is something that you're really impacted by, that you want to boycott for whatever reason, come to the island and meet members of the LGBT community, or like just interact with us as opposed to boycotting.
And trying to crash the economy where we all...
Yeah, like, it's everybody, like, sure.
Yeah, let's just crash the economy. Take away all their money.
And they don't even live here, so obviously they're not impacted by the boycott.
I would probably argue that most of the people that are saying boycott Bermuda don't even know what Bermuda is.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
But, like I said, we're running out of time, so let's just leave with this one. Just stop being an ass. And lastly, in the immortal words of Colonel Birch,
Oh, God.
if it don't concern you, mind your own goddamn business.
Thank you.
I don't know if he said goddamn.
I said goddamn.
It's for this that type of news. I'm Dutch Perman. That's Bruce Robinson. And Greg and Winston, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.